Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDF44 coming at you with another video. Okay, so the Los Angeles Lakers played the Atlanta Hawks today in a midday game, and I hate those. I hate Sunday games that come on before 3 o'clock. I hate any game. I don't care if it's one of them early in the morning Orlando games that usually we in Orlando or Toronto. We got to play on a Sunday at like freaking 9 in the morning. I hate those games. Or we have a game like today where they try to toss us into the Staples Center at noon. You know what I mean? As if that's a good thing for players, athletes to have to jump outside of their regular repetitions, and regular rest patterns, and then go play a stupid midday game on a Sunday. I hate those games. Today happens to be Saturday, but same difference. You know what I'm trying to say. So we played one of those games, and a lot of times when those games occur, either it's a blowout or something of that nature, or an injury. You know, I look at it as the equivalent to a Thursday night football game. You know, just about as pointless and greed-driven as anything these sports has going on. But that's just my opinion. So we had one of those games, and as a result, we had one of those infamous injuries that took place to our guy LeBron James. Scrub ass Solomon Hill dove at his ankles and gave him a really bad injury. And I say scrub ass Solomon Hill because I'm pissed at Solomon Hill. First of all, I'm mad at Solomon Hill because I know he's from LA. If I'm not mistaken, he went to Fairfax High. I don't know if that's true, but he's an LA dude. And the guy dove at LeBron's legs. You know what I mean? A loose ball type situation. Now I know the Atlanta Hawks are on an 8, now probably 9 game winning streak or something like that. They didn't want that broken. They know that we're hobbling because we don't have AD. And I just thought that was some Bush League bullcrap, to be completely honest with you. You know what I mean? And I'll leave it at that. I just thought it was Bush League. I thought it was something that deserved at least a technical. I'm not going to go all the way out the window and say he deserved to be suspended or nothing like that. But I felt like there should be some reprimand for that situation at that time. Just can't have those type of plays, man. Guys diving into people's legs, man. Especially, and look, I'm going to say this, and I know that I have no position to say this because I can't play basketball, but I don't like seeing players like Solomon Hill hurt LeBron James or Patrick Beverly hurting Russell Westbrook. I just feel like that's, in my mind, it's just something that should never happen. Not to say that a great player can't hurt a great player or whatnot, or anybody should hurt anybody, but it sits wrong with me when I know somebody who ain't even a tenth as good as the guy who they hurt is out there running around after doing so. So yeah, I have a gripe with Solomon Hill. I think most of the Laker nation has a gripe with Solomon Hill as of today. You know, that was some real Zaza Pachulia type stuff right there. And to do it to the greatest player of all time, arguably, I don't know who wants to argue that. It's him and Michael Jordan, of course, for me. You know, it's just like, man, I just want to throw something at Solomon. Like, I really do. I want to throw popcorn at him or something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really pissed off about this. But it is what it is, man. A lot of people may say, no, he didn't mean to do that on purpose. And who knows, right? Who knows intentions? Maybe he didn't mean to hurt LeBron, but it just seemed to me that he did that shit on purpose, bro. It seemed to me that this is one of the situations guy plays your same position, probably your age or similar, making 1,000,000,000 times more money than you, 10,000,000,000,000 times better than you, and you just jealous and shit. That's how I took it. I don't know. I could be completely wrong, but that's just what the vibe is when situations like this occur. It's like, oh, you did that, bro. You did that on some jealousy. So, forgive me if I'm wrong, but it is what it is. It's how I feel. At this point, the Lakers now have 2 superstars hurt. I think that makes up about more than a third of our team, to be honest with you, since so much of our team is wrapped up in those 2 contracts and both of those guys are hurt. So what? That's like almost half your team, if not more, just wrapped up in those 2 players. We still have a very talented franchise, group of guys, rather, on our team. Guys like Kuzma, Schroeder, and Montrezl Harrell, who as a core could probably not, they wouldn't make the playoffs, but if you built the right team around them, they could be competitive and maybe, you know, break some hearts here and there. So as of this point, the Lakers are in trouble. We're in real trouble because it looks like this is going to be a real injury for LeBron. LeBron basically made a statement saying something along the lines of, I'm hurt, but I'm going to come back as fast as possible. The road to recovery begins now. LeBron James heals better than most, faster than most. The problem is he's 36 years of age, going on 37 at the end of the year, and he's probably not going to heal as fast as he used to. You know, it's a lose-lose. You know, hindsight is 2020. Maybe we don't have LeBron out there for as many minutes as we played him, but I don't think this was a minutes problem. This could have happened to anybody that had this occur. He dove at the man's legs, and that's what you get, a twisted ankle. So just looked like some Bush League bullshit to me, to be completely honest with you. But nevertheless, Lakers going to have to find a way to win games without those two players. Of course, we have AD coming back in about 2.5 weeks, maybe a little longer, depending on how he progresses. I'm not in a rush to bring him back. I'm hopeful that this injury doesn't force the Lakers to try to, rush him back. I think that would be a massive mistake. I do not think the Lakers can win the championship without both of those players. So if only one of them is down there and you're rushing one back because the other one's hurt, I don't think that's going to be enough to win anyway. You would do better shutting them both down and just calling it a season and taking your chances, not risking them going forward, because we're going to have them next year regardless. You know what I mean? Both of these players are under contract. They're going to be Lakers. So the most important thing we need to do is just make sure their tenure overall as Lakers is not lost by putting too much of a value on year 3 for LeBron, year 2 for AD when they're not 100% healthy. Now, don't get it twisted. I do feel like if we're 100% healthy, we still got a chance of winning the championship. But with LeBron James and Anthony Davis both hurt in March, seeing them at 100% by the time the playoffs roll around and firing on all cylinders, ready to beat a super team like the Nets, just doesn't look realistic to me at this moment. I don't have us winning the championship. I hate to say it. After an injury like this, I can officially say I'm off the bandwagon. I love my team. I'll root for my team, but we're not as good as we were last year, and we didn't have no damn Nets to face last year. There was, with all due respect to Miami, they were nowhere near as good as this Nets team right now. So the field has gotten better. We've gotten worse, and we're injured. So that's it. I mean, I'm happy that the Lakers tied it at 17. You know what I mean? I'm so pleased that we won a championship. I don't think we're done winning, not by a long stretch. I think we have a great core with Bron and AD. Even though Bron is at 36 years of age, I'm still very happy with that core. There's nothing wrong. But I do think that the Lakers are going to have to start thinking about kind of lowering their expectations. All of us as fans and maybe even the team itself may want to start thinking about what it feels like to move on from last year's championship and to start thinking about how we're not going to be champions this year necessarily. And it's okay, we can't win it every year. To have been bad for the last 8 years and then to turn around and win a championship in a lockout season where everybody's struggling, we'll always appreciate that no matter what happens this season. We got that one. So that's a big deal, and that's not something we're just going to forget about just because these things are not going well. There's still a lot of season left to play. There's still some moves that these franchises can make. We're hurt right now. That doesn't necessarily mean that other teams won't fall to injury as well to kind of balance things out. You don't know what's coming. I don't wish injury on anybody, but this is the NBA. People get hurt, so you don't quite know what's going to happen next. But I can tell you the Lakers are in trouble. It is doom and gloom, hit the panic button, all that. If LeBron James has an injury that's going to keep him out for over 2-3 weeks, and AD's not going to be back for another 2-3 weeks, I think we're going to lose a lot of games in that process. Unless we go make a move for Drummond and get him somehow, which I don't see us doing. He's a buyout guy, which means that we're going to have to wait past the trade deadline for him to even clear waivers. So we're nowhere near getting him, and there's no guarantee he will choose us if that does take place, because right now, the Nets just seem like the easier path to victory for a person who's chasing the ring. So things are not looking great, man. I'm not gonna sit up here and say too much doom and gloom. I think I said enough of that. I like the fact that we get a chance to see Kuzma, THT, Schroeder. Hopefully the Lakers will do the right thing and re-sign Damian Jones, to another 10-day or even for the rest of the season. I'll be happy if we do that. Now that we look as we do, and I think I'm probably the only person that's honestly feeling this way, but now that it seems like the championship is off the table, it would be wise for us to start shaving off fat, okay? We don't need no Marc Gasol now. If we're not winning the championship, we don't need ring-chasing players. We don't need Wesley Matthews. Get these guys out of here, trade them for second-round picks. That's where I'm at with it. If we're not winning the championship and we declare that our best players are both going to be fighting back from injury during playoff time, then chances are we need to get rid of these ring-chasing guys that are not that damn good to begin with. They don't make us any better anyway. We would do better bringing some players in, some youngsters playing the Costases, the THTs, the Carusos, bigger minutes to try to get the most out of those guys going forward. I want to see more K-Cock. I want to see more out of those type of guys. If they have upside and they're young on this team, they should be playing more than the older guys. And quite honestly, we just don't need older guys if we're not winning. Period. Literally, period. I like Markieff Morris. We don't have a purpose for him anymore if we're not winning. So for me, I shift. As a GM, if I was a GM, you guys would notice the shift. Once I stop believing we can win a championship, I start making moves that are going to make us better for next year. Give me second-round picks. Give me cash considerations. Let's maneuver some pieces around so we can get some cap space prepared for next year. I'm going to do everything I can to put myself in a position to be able to trade for Bradley Beal, be able to trade for Zach LaVine, to be able to trade for whomever's available come next season, because I'm not nowhere near done, and I know the field's going to get stronger and stronger, especially since Clay is coming back up there in Oakland, Golden State. You best believe that they're going to be a contender next year one way or another with a healthy Steph and Clay. So we would do best to try to get some shooting and some big-time shooting. Zach LaVine, Bradley Beal are the two guys I'm trying to position myself in place to get, especially Bradley Beal, because at the end of this season, when that team is garbage, he's going to definitely want out of there, in my opinion. I know they're playing pretty well right now. I don't care about that. He's going to want out of there, and he would be right to do so, and LA is a perfect spot for him. So if we can maneuver some pieces, do some math, do some Tetris, put ourselves in a position to be able to fit that piece here and go get him. So that's where I'm at, man. I move on from I'm a realist to my core. I've watched so many seasons of basketball since 1994. I've seen so many players come and wear these colors. It ain't nothing to me to win or lose. I can deal with both, because when you lose, that means you have an opportunity to get better. When you win, well, you've won. It's all great. So I don't see no lose-lose in a situation like this. If we're moving on from this season, let's move on from this season. I'm with it. Let's sit LeBron, sit AD, play the youngsters. Waive all them dudes that we don't need to trade them for second-round picks. Let's get better by getting worse, if that's what it is, and we find ourselves in the lottery. You know me, I ain't scared of the lottery. I'm of the mindset if we can bring in a Cade Cunningham to add to LeBron James and Anthony Davis next year, hey, that's a win for me. That's a win for me, especially if we're going to lose to the Nets anyway. I'm like that. So, hey, this is how I run. If I'm a GM, I got Anthony Davis and LeBron James surrounded by young players that can run like crazy, a couple of vets just to keep the IQ high, but the majority of it is just young legs. That's what I want. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with it. Oh, and if I can't get Bradley Beal or any of those guys, I would love to bring back Zoe. Y'all know I'm a big Zoe fan. I made a video about him yesterday. He's not the greatest fit for this team. I'm just bringing him back because I like what he's doing. But the realistic thing is he probably doesn't fit that well with LeBron James. So, whatever. But either way, they do play well defensively, especially if LeBron commits to the defensive side like he did this season. That's a whole other story. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. My name is BDF44. Get well soon, King, but don't rush back. Get well soon, AD, but don't rush back. I know the time is ticking, but because time is ticking, sometimes you'll have to forego certain things for the proper way to heal. In other words, forego this season so you can heal properly, come back stronger next year. Because if we focus all in on this season, go all in for the championship, guys do everything they can to get back on the floor. Achilles pops, you're in a KD situation, next year's loss, this year's loss, you don't get either ring. You see what I'm saying? If we start accepting the fact that the ring is not for us this season, we could put ourselves in a position to capture it next season. But if we rush at it and we get it, happy. If we rush at it and we fail, chances are we're not going to be able to bounce back in the same types of ways in terms of positioning ourselves to get better to that degree. That's much harder to do with less time to think about it, I guess is what I'm saying. Do it now, focus now, recalibrate now, and that way at the end of the season, when you have lost the chip and it hasn't come your way, you're not sitting there scrambling trying to figure out how we can get better, trying to fire coaches and things of that nature. You don't have to do. Just prepare for the loss now, and you can have more time to figure out how to get better. So that's where I'm at. I love my team. I would relish in the opportunity to be wrong. I would. But right now, the Nets are going to take that. They're going to take that. They're a better team than us as currently constructed, especially with injuries. It's just theirs to lose. Even without KD, they could probably still win the championship. So with him coming back, I really, really, really don't see nobody beating him, except for us at complete strength, for which we are not. So anyway, my name is BDF44. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out.